Hi, I'm Rudolph, a creator on Patreon. First question is, what even is Patreon? For those of you who aren't quite familiar with it, let's talk about the heart behind it. Back in the day, we had various famous kinds of artists and writers: Shakespeare, Leonardo da Vinci, Mozart. I'm sure you've heard the names, at least, if you're not necessarily aware with their works on an intimate level. But did you know that they had patrons? The word Patreon, I think, is a play off of the word patron. And patrons of the arts were people, various kinds, various positions, who wanted to invest, both with money and with just belief, in certain creators. And there were a whole lot of things, plays and paintings and songs, we wouldn't have today if these artists, like Shakespeare, Leonardo da Vinci, and Mozart, didn't have patrons supporting them both, again, with their investments and their just their enthusiasm. So that's the heart behind Patreon. And then the basic function is it's a website where all kinds of creators can host their content to patrons who subscribe. It's a pretty elaborate system. It includes, of course, free content and paid content, depending on how the creator wants to host what they have made. Some creators have this tiered system where they give certain levels of access to their content, depending on what the patron pays. My Patreon is far simpler. And I think it's for my sake, instead of trying to sift what goes where, and also for your sake, because here's the impression I get from people who just are out there, whether they believe in arts or not. There are those who see the value and those who don't, as well as those who have the money and those who don't. I feel like most people I encounter probably fall into this category, and regardless of what category into which you fall, you are all so appreciated. When you invest in us creators, we are thankful, regardless of how you feel and how you approach it. But all that to say, I don't have a fancy tiered system, a fancy scale. You may contribute whatever it is your heart leads you to contribute, and it will be most appreciated. Beyond that, most of what I post in my Patreon has to do with writing. My biggest dream is to write books, fiction, novels, fantasy, and sci-fi. Beyond that, I've written poetry. I'm working on a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. I've even painted some. I dabble in writing music. All of the above. That's one more reason why I don't know how to distribute the system for my patrons. I just invite you to see what I'm creating and enjoy the process. So then, what's in it for you? Of course, there's just the general enthusiasm of believing in a creator, but also I offer a couple benefits, if you will. There's the conversational aspect where I love what I do and I love sharing it. And you'll see if you scroll back through my just menu of stuff, you'll see posts and sometimes poems, conversations, even like journal entries about life in general, as well as the writing process. In addition to that, you'll get some motivation. One of my biggest dreams, right next to me writing my own stuff, is I want to inspire other writers. While this Patreon isn't specifically designed to help other writers, I would love to answer questions. I have a lot of prompts that I've just piled up over the years because why not? And I'd love to provide just encouragement to you. If you're working on a writing project, I would love to offer whatever insights I may have, and definitely just raw encouragement. And of course, kind of obviously, is my own creations. Besides talking about my writing, I love sharing pieces. I love sharing snapshots of what I'm working on. Snapshots, either literally, if it's a screenshot of some sort of more artsy creation, or excerpts from what I'm in the process of writing. And it's just, yeah, it's exciting to see my own stuff come to life, and I want you to feel that same excitement on my behalf, but also on your own behalf, just to absorb some inspiration for your work, whether it's writing as well or something else entirely. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the basic intro to what Patreon is, what my Patreon is, and what you can kind of get out of this strange relationship. There's always more to say, there's always more to create, there are always questions to ask you, to me, and me to ask of you. But yeah, let's start this conversation. I'd love for you to join me as I dive into the world of literature and beyond.